Monza, the rear wing fest where everybody brings a rear wing with the least amount of downforce and front wings. We got plenty to go over, a lot of different stuff with straight line speed prioritized. The cars will look different and it should be a different pecking order to our usual. First thing I wanted to note though was this beautiful Alfa Romeo livery. Like, Ferrari, take notes. This is how you make a special livery. The black with the little Italian flag, they're promoting that new beautiful car that I have up on the screen. It is a spectacular looking livery. Alfa Romeo's livery this year has been spot on, so bringing this just makes the car look even more beautiful than it already is. Some of the pics are with it actually in full, some with the parts on. It is a beautiful livery. Next thing I wanted to note was the actual new F2 car that we have actually for the next year off F2. I like this car a lot better. Now the rear wing, interesting looking, but I like it. It's still a different type of style. It's their own unique thing. They actually have Venturi tunnels on this now. Apparently the speed will be practically the same, maybe the tiniest bit faster, which I guess is good, but the speed needs to stay the same. Honestly, they don't need like a faster car. It's F2. It needs to adapt to F1. So yeah, I like the look of the car a lot better than what we currently have in my personal opinion. Aero-wise, it's pretty cool to look at. Now let's get into the rear wing. So here we have 4 teams. We got Red Bull, we have Ferrari, we have Alpine, and we have McLaren. Now the biggest one to know here is the Red Bull. They actually cut off a little slip of the wing. It is a bit different. Wow, we have a different wing from Red Bull. It's a little bit more low downforce. This one is currently fitted on Sergio Perez from my understanding, and Max has the wing without the actual cutout. So we'll see what they use. Last year they went with the wing that was pretty loaded, but guess what? On tire wear, they destroyed Ferrari. Ferrari did the exact same thing that they're doing this year as well. They're doing a super low downforce wing, which is practically flat to the ground. Nothing has been crazy this year like we had last year with the Aston Martin Monza wing, but the Ferrari one is pretty extreme, and apparently it's the wing from 2022. That's what's being said right now. For the cost cap reasons, they brought the exact same wing from last year's F175 to this year's SF23, exact same wing from 2022. And McLaren, I hate to disappoint the McLaren fans, but it's not looking bright considering what wing they brought. I don't know why they brought this wing when they could have had that just be a more low downforce. I don't really understand the reasoning why they're not using this wing and they use this one with the more flat-sided edges. I'm not sure. I would not be very hyped up for McLaren when it comes to their pace here in Monza. They very much struggle on straight line speed. So does Aston, but Aston has been better at shredding their drag. Don't really know. Alpine should be pretty decent here. They should be pretty decent, but yet again, engine's weak, so what can you really expect from the French team? We'll have to see. Okay, here's another 4 teams. Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, and Aston Martin. Well, I'll tell you this. The Aston Martin wing is not the one that they're actually using. I'll show you another picture of it. They first put this one on. It might be tested between the 2 drivers if they're going to use this. They might go for Red Bull strategy. They've been good on tires. Could be the actual good outcome. Williams, flat to the ground. They're going to be hitting at 370. It's probably not going to be that fast, but it will be very fast, the Williams squad. Alfa Romeo, also pretty damn flat. Now the Haas, literally looks like they chopped off half their wing, which they did. This is the exact same wing they had in Jeddah. They have been saving money like crazy. I don't know what upgrades they've really put into their team. They've had like a front wing upgrade. They brought a floor that's pretty generic. They have been pretty flat this year, but on the bright side, they have been pretty fast in the straight line. Now, they could qualify high, but they'll probably fall back in the race because tire wear actually is a strategy here in Monza. Last year, we saw teams actually pitting towards the very last like 10 laps on softs and actually just destroying the field. So we could see a different outcome here. I'd like to see what Haas can bring out. Maybe, just maybe, they could score points here, but considering how they've been all season, I don't really know. Now, a big upgrade to know. By the way, I love the image of this like Ferrari, the way this looks. It does look pretty damn mean. There is a new front wing on this Ferrari, a low downforce front wing. Now, it's nothing crazy. The airflow is working for this low downforce track. This car is specified for this track. Just look at how low downforce that actual rear wing is. They have a chance here. Now, it's not high. It's got to require Max Verstappen making some mistakes. But if Leclerc is on it, he could get a very great race. I would not be shocked if Ferrari is good here. Will the Monza curse happen? I don't know, but regardless, a front wing upgrade and they have their rear wing. Nothing else has really been brought to this Ferrari. I know that it's been said that there should have been a lot more to the car, but they didn't bring a lot more to the car. Honestly, it's just a rear wing and a front wing. But here is a closer picture of that I wanted to show you. Yes, they've moved those little grates that they have into the top flaps of the front wing a little bit more and made it more low downforce. As I was saying, it's a little bit of a flatter front wing than it usually is. Now here is the Aston Martin wing that I was trying to talk about. Low downforce, but not that low. As I was saying, it is not that low, this Aston Martin rear wing. And I think that's a good thing. I think in the future, as these cars pick up a lot more speed in their floors like Red Bull is, this is the better outcome. I mean, for the Mercedes squad, they have a rear wing that I would say is somewhere near along the level that Aston Martin have it. It's I would say low downforce, but I would also say it's kind of medium-ish. It's, I think, the best way about going in Monza currently with our floor upgraded cars. Before, the smaller the wing, the better, but now I think you got to go for like a medium low-ish downforce setup, unless you're like a Williams, it's just a straight line bullet anyways, because it's such a simple car, but it's simple as in the way that it's actually shredding that drag. So for Aston, I think this is the best outcome. My expectations for them are not high here. They would have to really perform they would have to get like a crazy type of safety car performance out of here to actually get onto the podium. They are better, but I don't think that they're good enough to actually get themselves in the top 3. But I hope they shock me because they have more upgrades coming. Nothing has been really pictured fully yet though. Just another shot showing you how the wings are actually different in comparison to before. This wing supposedly though is from Melbourne. It's like almost the same type of thing, maybe a little bit more cut out. And in Melbourne, they were pretty quick, but you needed more downforce there. So like I said, I think they're going for an hybrid of what the actual wing is going to be. Here's a picture actually of the Mercedes coming out of the garage. Another thing I want to note though, their Venturi tunnels actually picked up are very big. Like, they're a lot bigger than most other teams on the grid. They definitely got a different floor concept now that I'm looking at it, like much more different to the Ferrari, Red Bull, and even Aston Martin. So I don't know why this picture kind of accentuated that for me, but it really did. And looking at the rear wing here, it's the exact same one from Spa, as I mentioned before. Last thing to know when it comes to upgrades, this is something that Haas did bring. It's that actual beam wing setup that Red Bull has been running for most of the season, and now Ferrari has even incorporated. But you can also see a little divot that they put into their real setup going into that beam wing, which I find pretty interesting. I've never really seen like a team do this so far, maybe to give them a little bit of downforce, but also accentuate the air. It's interesting. Let's see if Haas can actually pull some performance. They've been very good on DRS efficiency. They could come to shock us, but like I said, their tire wear is still tragic, so we have to see what ends up happening. But that's really it. It's a roundabout of a whole bunch of rear wings, some front wings. People are just going for minimal drag. And let's see what that brings out, what car is actually the best. My predictions honestly are that Ferrari is going to be up there with Red Bull. I think Williams is going to be really high up, and I think hopefully Aston Martin can actually shock us a little bit into this weekend. The teams that I would say are probably going to be pretty bad here, I mean, Alfa Romeo, no. McLaren, no. I gotta see from Mercedes. They are a hit or miss for me here. I don't think they're going to do that great, but without DRS, they've been pretty good. So maybe they actually perform pretty well. Let's see what happens in this season of Monza. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and what you guys think of the track. Can Ferrari actually pull off a Tifosi win? It would be nice. It would be nice, please. But at the same time, kind of want to see Max get to 10. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world. And peace.